you start this regeneration thing. So it's actually very possible to start healing, get hit while you're healing, and still you'll be totally fine. Because the health potions, if you're like at half life, at half health while you start healing, you will heal sort of like your full health bar worth of stuff. So you can take a significant hit from a boss or something while you're healing, and it just might not even matter, which really does not create the right feeling when you're trying. You want players to never feel like a hit doesn't matter. That's very important. Now, they try to counterbalance it by sort of complicating things a little bit. By making it so that if you take significant hits, your max health goes down until you go back to like a sanctuary. So if you just keep spamming health potions, the hits did actually matter. But ultimately, I feel like that losing your health potion is what made the hit matter. So I feel like it just isn't as necessary as a mechanic. I'd be very interested to know why they chose that version for the mechanic instead of Dark Souls' simple crack a health potion, gain some life.
Yeah, well, I guess the one possibility is Dark Souls is a very all or nothing feel, and but like that's not necessarily as in that's not like a bad thing, but it can be frustrating if you slightly time it badly.
What's really weird to me is that the game so blatantly copied Dark Souls that there's no, often a reason is, well, we want to do something a little bit different. But, the game is so blatant about copying Dark Souls that it's why? At that point, any change should be made for a very clear reason. Now, one of the changes they have here is what we're seeing right now. That for merchants, you spend gold to buy things. In Dark Souls, everything is used through Souls currency. Now, you have almost no need of merchants in this game. It's very strange. And you always have too much gold, and you lose 10% of your gold when you die, but nobody cares because why would you? You later will start using them to get awesome amounts of consumable items that let you upgrade your stuff, but that's the only thing. Someone could be very forgiven for thinking that gold has no actual practical value. But what we're going to do here is get a lock of hair. Well, two of them actually. Its memories can be used by a blacksmith to upgrade weapons.
Okay.
That's a little weird.
Interesting. Yeah.
How can you use memories to... And that's sort of the first game's hint that there might be something that you're not on a normal island exactly. So we're going to go get this. I don't remember what it is. Okay, so you can see basically that there's some other weapons, and I'll show you one of them. I'll show you a few of them, actually. So this is the spear, and you can two-hand it or use it with a shield, and it works like this. So you see I've got this sort of stab attack, which does not have the forward slashing motion that I like.
Yeah, but it's got quite a bit of reach to it, which is nice depending on what you how your playstyle is.
So watch how many hits it takes me to kill this guy. That's going to be important later. That was 5. All right.
Oof.
So he feels like a nice little mini boss, effectively, though he's just this random enemy, basically. All right, go kill that guy. Pick this up, and we're going to level up a little bit. Now, I just picked up a calling horn and a stone guide. The stone mechanics are kind of interesting. Basically, like in Dark Souls, the core idea is you upgrade bonfires by kindling them so that they'll give you more health. Well, here you can upgrade bonfires in a different way. Let's make an offering. So I'm going to say a stone blacksmith. Now, basically, I have a blacksmith.
It's actually a blacksmith. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll give me a global buff to the area that I'm in, and he'll also allow me to blacksmith stuff here, which is cool. All right, we're going to level up. So I'm going to spend my salt. It gives me the black pearls that I can use to upgrade. Everything is, of course, very ship-oriented. They really are trying to take this idea of pirates, ship, a lock of hair, memento, salt, messages in bottles, that sort of thing. All right, so we are going to start moving up this tree.
We saw right at the beginning, if you know, that I believe you're on a pirate ship or something is the very beginning of the game.
I think you were attacked by pirates, but yeah, you were on a ship.
Oh yeah, well, you were on a ship. Sorry, yeah.
Right. So you see a lot of these messages are from other players, and they're totally helpful.
Birds.
Yep. All right. So now we have our shortcut. So that door that we couldn't open before, we are now able to go in. I'm going to go through here and kill this guy. You're going to start seeing me doing some stuff. Kill these guys. Oh, I missed it. Okay. I no longer feel cool. So this area you immediately die in because this little tripwire. See that there? Tripwire. Village of Smiles. That's not ominous. If you walk on that, there will be a trap. And people usually die to it, and then they try to bypass it to fight these enemies, and this Black Knight is a really hard enemy, as you will learn throughout the game. Like, they basically almost always permanently die. Not actually always. But they're really hard. They've got really nasty attack patterns. And they're very difficult to deal with. And you're really unequipped to deal with them at this point. But that works.
So I guess. Nice. So yeah, you use the tripwire to fight the Black Knight. Like, see, that's the kind of thing where it's definitely making you feel badass by giving you a very difficult enemy and giving you
a very difficult trap.
A trap, and teaching you a new mechanic of that you need to look out for traps, but also teaching you that you can use them offensively and you can use them to kill enemies that you normally have a real difficulty fighting.
And that's an even better thing than feeling like you figured out how to beat an enemy that was more powerful than you. You actually get to turn something that killed you into killing something else. And so that's really great. This is just a random, ominous NPC.
Yeah, it feels very satisfying.
Yep. So we're going to go over here and go get our greatsword, because I know where that is. That's one of the major things about this game, and it mimics the Dark Souls thing about, in the first time you play through, you sort of explore and find everything, and the next time you play through, you start actually getting useful, you know where everything is, so you know how to get the weapons you want right away. So I'm going to go over here first and get this ring. There's actually a really cool piece of armor near some end game enemies to the right that I could go get if I wanted, but we're spending a lot of time already. So I'm going to just go back once this goes there. And so, and I actually,
so it definitely seems that you've got to play a careful game with the level design where you want there to be hidden secrets, but you don't want them to feel frustrating. Like you can see there, the platform was slightly visible, but it was
clearly
covered by this. It's very deliberate that it's covered by this kind of black overgrowth there. So it's possible to be oh, there's something up there, but then.
And this is a baby secret because there's clearly platforms leading somewhere, but.
Exactly. Well, it's very easy to. If you have you could have a lot of secrets and have no idea ever find them, and they feel just kind of a little arbitrary.
Absolutely. So we are now going to use this blacksmith to upgrade. Now, if we're not part of that covenant in the beginning, we would not have as many privileges here. You can basically only make offerings in sanctuaries that are of your particular creed. Now, creeds have almost no difference between each other at all, with a very few exceptions. And it's presented with this big choice at the beginning, choose your creed, and it's I don't know what that means, and it's I don't care. So that's kind of difficult. But here, as you can see, we have this upgrade item. We take it to a blacksmith. We upgrade with the memories of locks of hair onto our sword, and now we have a greatsword that is level 2. So that's really sweet.
And I think you've mentioned before that greatswords are your favorite weapons in this game? Or?
Absolutely. I keep trying to play other ways, but I always end up playing with the greatsword. I played a mage and I built a magic greatsword that scales off magic, and
So what makes the greatsword so satisfying?
Did you just see that? That's what made it so satisfying. Look.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Let's fight some enemies. Oh wait, they're all dead, right? Because I didn't actually rest at the bonfire. I probably should do that. I'll go rest at the bonfire, and then we will go back. See, I will ring the bell and just warp right back. Totally not homeward bone, which is the Dark Souls thing. Yep. So there we go, and now let's get all our enemies back. But you can see I'm slow rolling again. That's because this is just too much weight on. So we're going to replace our plate mail greaves with blacksmith boots. Now we're fast again. Whoa! Right, wrong one.
Wrong direction.
No, I meant the sanctuary that I was in below. Yeah, I didn't save there, so warping back didn't actually do anything. I warped back to this one.
Okay, so but you'll be able to get through this area.
Yeah, no problem. Now, and that's the Black Knight's an enemy that doesn't respawn. Killing them in one hit. This feels great. And so all my reflexes, timing, and hitbox are based around assuming the greatsword.
Mm.
And as you can see, it's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, but but I'm assuming that there's definitely. Oh, didn't that enemy take like 5 hits to kill earlier?
Yep.
2 hits now.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
you can lure him into that trap as well too, but it's completely unnecessary. Let's see. Like, I just killed him through a shield.
So there's definitely other viable ways to play though. But it's really nice that players can kind of learn and specialize, even if there's as in basically that you can kind of play the game the way you want to play it, and that's
Absolutely
gives you a lot of choice and investment.
Now, unlike Dark Souls, you can't do that quite as much. Now, like it's like daggers are amazingly bad. I tried to play like an assassin on my second playthrough, and it was just shocking. Like the dagger upgrades give you extra willpower, which means you can basically roll more and attack more. Yep. The idea being that you'll like attack faster and stuff like that, but the daggers are so short range that I end up switching to like a sword anyway. And then I realized that I got a non-dexterity scaling like greatsword, and it was still better. Yep. Like greatswords are just so much better than everything else. Magic can be really, really, really good because you can attack from a range, but the greatsword is just so reliable. There's no ammunition. The way magic works is you see that white bar next to my endurance, my stamina. Basically, that's
a really thin one.
Yeah, that's your mana. So if you start using magic, you'll reduce that, but it'll also reduce your maximum stamina. So you end up, once you're out of magic, you're out of half maximum stamina too. Now, what I just got was this upgrade thing called the Holy Page, the Blessed Page. Now this is going to give me a lightsaber. And I want you to remember how hard the first guy was. When I first played the game, this person took me longer to kill than the first guy, okay?
Yep. So is this like this is a consumable, right?
Yeah, I'm saying that the Queen of Smiles took me longer to kill than the first guy, and I want you to see how this boss fight goes. Now that I have a reasonable weapon and this upgrade.
Yeah, you're just taking off huge chunks of health there.
Yep. All right, I'm just gonna play really safe. So like she's almost at half dead. You see there, I took a hit, but it didn't matter because I was still in the mix of my regeneration healing. Like the fact that I took that hit meant absolutely nothing because I was still already healing. I'm just gonna wail on her. Look, I'm gonna tank the boss, which is not something you should ever be able to do. But I can.
Yeah, you just crushed it.
Yep.
But so that's. Will we finish here, or you want to keep going?
Let's wrap up, but I'll just keep going as we're wrapping up. So I got the Queen of Smiles ear, which basically I can use to build a specific type of weapon if I want later. It's really important for that magic greatsword. And you can do that by going to an alchemist and transmuting it and stuff like that, and lets you build special items. So now the game really opens up. You get to go in all these different places. We'll take a quick look at the level up tree and how it all connects together. But fundamentally, that is Salt and Sanctuary. As you can see, it's really just taking the core action, satisfying loop of having to, watch your dodges, watch your blocks, and try to get an attack in. So you can't always have your shield up. You can't always be rolling. If you roll too much, you won't be able to get any attacks in, and so on.
Yep.
And it takes that, it puts it in a 2D environment, makes use of the verticality, and then it basically just takes that whole idea of bosses that telegraph attacks, upgrading items, and everything else slots in nicely from there. So I think it's a very nice adaptation of the game, and I like very much how they just made everything work well together.
Well done. Yeah, no, I've been. Yeah, it looks nice. I might have to give it more of a playthrough in the future.
Yeah, it's good
because I've been quite enjoying Dark Souls. So
excellent.
I'd be happy to try out Dark Souls Light or whatever.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls. It's Diet Dark Souls. Like
Diet Dark Souls.
But it does. But fundamentally, with Dark Souls, the reason Dark Souls works is that it creates that sense of satisfaction for that you, with your knowledge and experience and observation, you are able to accomplish more than before, and things that looked like incredibly formidable enemies become cakewalks. Like that is the core element of Dark Souls, and it blends all of that into a very simple formula, and this game did a good job of recognizing all that. Now, it's amazing all the stuff they copied, but it's also like everything from the creeds to like the messages, but the thing is they only copied the stuff that worked well with the formula. That's one of the most important things. Even though they copied so many things, there's a lot of stuff they didn't copy. They did not copy this really arcane, confusing magic system with like multiple uses per spells. You have to queue up the magic into your attunement slots on top of like the amount of like how do I use magic in Dark Souls searches there are. Is so weird, and it's like you need a magical implement plus all this other stuff, and they didn't copy the super simple level up tree. They figured out, hey, the fun part is figuring out what do I put my points that I can use this weapon. And so they decided to mimic that, but in a more obvious environment. They did not copy all these different elements of the different ways that these covenants work and so on, but they still create the idea that covenants give you different benefits or different builds. They did still mimic the idea that you, by the way, we're basically in the depths right now. If you know Dark Souls, see we've got our big blobs that fall down from the ceiling. And there's all this poisony stuff, and we're about to see one of those big fat guys. Like, they can mimic the enemies, too. It's just amazing. But they only mimic stuff that works well, and that's the most important thing. Like, look, they poison us, they drop on us. Like, yeah, that's not familiar. To Reuben, it's not familiar, but...
No. Well, like, some of it is because, like... Yeah, I've been sure to watch Let's Plays, and I've had friends be like, "God damn, this like area in Dark Souls," and etc.
Big fat guy with a club from in the poisony area. Yeah, we know who those are. So, but the thing is,
so they've really done a good job at the adaptation, and
right.
I agree. Like when adapting, it's really tempting to kind of just. Once you start kind of taking some elements to basically just take it all. But you really have to go through the elements one by one and make sure they're actually working within the environment. Because, like a 2D environment is a very, very different environment. Like you can't just copy everything one to one. It just doesn't work. It's just have fundamental differences.
Absolutely. And I can say that the real reason that the things that they copied Dark Souls really show that they understand how it works. That the sense of the knowledge and experience letting you overcome impossible odds. And so they copied the core progression system, and if you die, you have to go retrieve your salt. Like I'd have to go, the Mad Alchemist killed me. This is one thing they did that's really worth talking about before we go. If an enemy kills you, you have to go kill that enemy, and it has additional power now to go get your salt back. Whereas in Dark Souls, they just drop on the ground where you died.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Like if an enemy kills you, you have to go fight it, and it has a buff now.
So does that mean that the bosses are harder the second time you play them?
The bosses are the one exception. Bosses basically, if you kill 1/4 of their health before dying, then you get your souls back.
Okay, so what they do is but if a normal enemy kills you, that enemy basically turns into a mini boss.
Yes, exactly. It like gets double health or something.
That's clever. Like, I was gonna say like that seems really frustrating when playing as bosses, but no, if it works differently for bosses, then that seems fine.
Right, and so that's really nice. And the element of the fact that my greatsword is hidden, like not very hidden, like you can pretty much see that there's something there very cleanly. But I know where to get the greatsword, and the fact is, the first time I played, I wanted to play a strength character, which a greatsword was perfect for, which I only figured out after trying the greatsword, of course. But I spent like 2 hours exploring the Village of Smiles, exploring the nearby areas, before I finally found that sword, and I tried it out, and now I know to run right to it, and I feel rewarded because I know where everything is. So that's one of the nice things about a game like Dark Souls, is that in a game like Skyrim, the sense of discovery is often the main fun part. But in Dark Souls, knowing where everything is and where everything cool is helps give you an added satisfaction on your playthrough. Now, I'm sure many people love knowing where all the good stuff is on Skyrim to go through a second playthrough. So like that's not like something that's exclusive to Dark Souls, but I'm saying it fits the theme of what Salt and Sanctuary and Dark Souls are trying to do. That sense that you have this impossible, scary, big world that gets progressively less scary as you play through it. Which is why it lends itself so well to playthroughs. Like this big, scary, mysterious world that you just start feeling more and more comfortable in, and all these things that made you afraid, you just want to go back and show off how smart you are and how much better you are now. And the things that create that design goal are what Salt and Sanctuary copied, and they did it very well. All right, I'm gonna let it kill me and say that's gonna be the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you with another episode of Intelligent Design.